Hi, I'm Landon Wenger, the founder of Rev Experts, and we're a marketing agency that's really focused on return on investment. And we specialize in working with home service companies, so predominantly roofing companies, plumbing companies, HVAC companies, landscaping companies. Most companies, most home service companies that you could think of are the types of companies that we tend to work with because we can typically get the best results for those types of companies. When you think about digital marketing for a home service company, it's done in a very different way than the way marketers are going to advertise for a e-commerce company or a restaurant or any type of business where you want to get traffic into your store, right? With any home service company, that is typically not the objective. The objective is we want people filling out forms on our website, or we just want people calling us, calling our phone so we can have a conversation, so we can go out and give an estimate for the job, for the work that they need to have done. And a lot of companies typically think that to do this properly, like for example, really good marketing is if you're a roofing company in, let's say, Lancaster, Pennsylvania. If you're a roofing company in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, when people go to Google on their phones or on their computers, when they search roofing company in Lancaster or roofing company near me, if you're popping up, if your business is popping up, your website's popping up, you're popping up on Google local listing, and you have an ad at the top, right? That's really good marketing. Where a lot of companies, a lot of home service companies specifically think it's really expensive to do that because if you do a search for, roofing in your area or HVAC in your area, typically the companies that are popping up, are the big companies in the area that have a lot of money to spend. Well, the reality is the reason they're typically the ones popping up is yes, they have money to spend, but two, it's just the simple fact that they know they can afford it and so they do it. Whereas a lot of companies, smaller home service companies, could afford to do exactly what the big companies are doing. They just don't think they can afford it, so they don't. And so, what I want to go through today is just I want to show you guys the process of if I owned a, let's say, if I owned a roofing company here in Lancaster, how I would go about looking at the big companies in the area and then actually like spying on how they're doing their marketing. And then I would take those strategies that they have implemented and I would go implement them for my own company. So I'm going to show you that process of going and spying on, a big roofing company in the area. And then kind of pulling that back into, okay, how can we market our company to get more leads and start beating the competition? And this basic concept that I'm going to go through applies to any home service business. We're just going to use roofing for today. So let's jump into it. The first thing we want to do here is we want to search roofing Lancaster, PA. Okay. All right. So let's break down what we're seeing here. So at the top, we're seeing Google guaranteed ads. We have Diversified Roofing, big company, and Joyland Roofing, big company. They're just paying money. So if I was to click on either of these, they would pay a certain amount of money. Usually for roofing, it's like anywhere from 30 to 60 bucks per click. But they do that because they know if they get a certain number of clicks, there's going to be a percentage of those people that end up calling or filling out a form and becoming customers. So they're getting really good return on their investment with these because I know they've been running these for a while. Then we have another ad here, just a Google search ad for broadback roofing. This is the same concept. It's just not Google guaranteed. So the quality of these leads is still going to be good. It's just not ever going to be as consistent and as good as Google guaranteed ads. And then Zimmerman's Roofing, same thing. And then we have these three companies that pop up here. Armor Roofing and Renovations. This is the Google local map pack. So we have Armor Roofing and Renovations, the exterior company, and Moser Roofing Solutions. And then we have our organic results, right? So this, whoever's on the top right here for this like organic result is typically getting 30% of the total traffic that comes in from people searching roofing Lancaster, PA. So this is like a very coveted, spot. The number one spot on Google is what we would call it. And so that's pretty much, what I'm going to look at initially. Now, the big question is, well, I have a couple questions come to mind is how do people get here? What are they doing to be here? How are these three guys here when there's so many companies in Lancaster? Why are these the 3 companies that are here? And then the ads portion is a little bit more simple. You just choose specific search terms to pop up for you, pay money to pop up at the top. That's what Google wants every company to do, because that's how Google makes their money. But let's start with the local listings. So for these local listings, there's 3 big factors that go into popping up as one of these top 3. One is just your location, right? That does play a big role. What is your office address? What areas do you serve? Plays a very big role because Google wants to be as relevant as possible. Another thing that comes into play is the number of reviews you have. So if you have a lot of good reviews, you're going to increase your chances of popping up here. Now, probably the biggest factor that goes into this out of anything is the number of citations you have, which citations are being listed on local directories like Yelp, Angie, Home Advisor. And the key here is there's like thousands of directories. So you want to look at how many directories your competitors are listed on, and then you just want to beat them. You just want to get more than that. Now, the big thing to keep in mind is when you have your information on a directory, you need to make sure that your name, your business name, your address, and your phone number is the same across every listing. It needs to be the same on your website. It needs to be the same on Google, on all the directories, because that's what gets you to the top. So if we do an example, I have a client in the area actually, and they've never been in the top 3, but I did a couple things for them, and now they're in the top 3. If you search, Lancaster, let's try, I think roofing Lancaster is what we chose. Okay, if we search roofing Lancaster, right, there we go. There's my client, Anderson Roofing and Exteriors. Okay, they're popping up here in the top 3, and you can see they have less reviews than the others. The big thing that we did is we went through and made sure that their name, their business name, their email, and business name, phone number, and address were the same on all directories. But we also looked at the competition, and we saw that most of the competition had like 50 directories, or citations. So we added, I believe, 100, 150 or so. We added quite a bit more than the competitors. And now they're here, which they're getting quite a few more calls because of that. Now I'm working on getting them ranked for the organic listing. But what you want to look into is, okay, for the organic listing, let's click on this. We have Joyland Roofing who's popping up. Now the question is, why is Joyland Roofing popping up? When you search roofing in Lancaster, why does Joyland pop up? The first thing we want to look at is the total number of words on their website. So what Google looks for total number of words on your homepage is roughly 1,200 to 1,500 words of content. So that's a big factor right there. How much content do you have? The next big factor is backlinks and citations, which are essentially other websites linking back to your website. And then the third factor is keywords. So do they have, roofing? They have the word roofing on this page 30 times. The word, let's just say Joyland. Let's just try this. They have the word Joyland, which is their company name, on here 17 times. And then let's try roofer 7 times. And then they have the word, let's try Lancaster. They have the word Lancaster 7 times, right? So really what they're doing is they're building this page around roofing in Lancaster, and they're making sure that they have enough of the keywords, of the right types of keywords, and they're also making sure that they have enough content in general. But then lastly, really what's important, at the end of the day, is the backlinking, having other websites link back to your website. And that's what the whole process of SEO is really about, at the end of the day. And so what I can do is I can plug this company into this tool called Ahrefs, and Ahrefs will give me all statistics on any website I want to look into. So if I paste this into here, I can see that they get around almost 3,000 people a month going to their website. And there's 5,000 different keywords. So things that people search that trigger Joyland's website to pop up in some form. So what I can do here is I can get really cheeky, and I can kind of filter what words I want to look at that they're ranking for. So I can first do Lancaster, apply, and then let me also add roofing. So I only want to look at the keywords that they rank for that have the words roofing and Lancaster in them. So we can see right here, roofing Lancaster, PA, They're on the first page of Google for this. So 1 through 10, this is the position. 1 through 10 is the first page of Google. Since it's 2, it means they're the second company on the first page of Google. But if it was 1, it would mean they're the first company on the first page of Google. But 200 people search that per month on average. Then we have roofing contractor, Lancaster, PA. Around 80 people search that per month on average. Roofing companies, Lancaster, 70 people search per month on average. So if you look at this, if you add up all these searches for roofing in Lancaster, it's quite a bit of searches that you get in Lancaster. And so what you want to do is you want to take these keywords, then you want to build out content on your website that revolves around these keywords so you can get a portion of each, search that everyone's doing. And usually it adds up to, 800, 1,000, 1,500 searches in a given month that you can start ranking for and popping up for. Now, if we go to an overview here, you can see their backlinks right here. This is what gives their website a lot of power. So the content and the keywords make it really relevant, but backlinks give it like actual power. Google's like, hey, they talk about roofing in Lancaster and a lot of companies link back to their site. Let's make them the first one to pop up. So backlinks are a really important part of this. And usually what we do for our clients is we build a lot of backlinks by guest posting. So there's very authoritative websites out there. We will go and build a really valuable, informative post for that company. And then in that post, we link back to the website, which is how we ultimately rank number 1 on Google for our clients. So that's just some general education on this. If I was to start a roofing company right now, I would look at the top company who's showing up organically. I would go steal all the words they rank for, and then I would implement the content, the keywords, and the backlinks to beat them on all of those things. I would go to the Google local listings, and I would find, the citations, how many citations the competitors have, how many reviews they have, and I would just immediately do the citations, and then I'd work my butt off to, just catch up to them with reviews. And pretty quickly, I would get in the top 3 on the Google local listing. And then last of all, once I had some jobs coming in and I had some revenue, I would put that money into Google Ads, where I can get my name to pop up right at the top by paying for it. So at some point, I would be popping up at the top with the ads. I'd be in the top 3 of the local listing. And then if you scroll down one more, the company would be right there within the organic search results. So that's typically the process you want to go through to kind of identify where there's marketing opportunities, and how difficult is it going to be to outrank. And usually it's not as difficult as what people think to beat some of the bigger companies, because it's not an expensive thing to do. It's just a process. So that's my perspective on this. This is our approach to this. The other thing that I didn't even really reference would be like, Facebook ads. TikTok ads are something that's getting kind of interesting. Facebook ads are kind of tried and true. They typically work if you're doing it the right way. So I hope this is helpful. If you have any interest in meeting with myself, I'd be happy to do like a free evaluation. Like I would go through this process of one of your top competitors and compare it to you. And I would give you a game plan of what you need to do to beat them. And whether you meet with me and you go try to implement it yourself, or you end up working with me, there's really, I have no like strong objective at the end of the day. But I'd be more than happy to just give free advice and do a free evaluation of where you stand relative to your competition. And at the end of the day, hopefully we work together. That would be great.